And we're back. After that little incident, we relocated to the kitchen. The smell of food filled the air. Despite the younger girl's easygoing attitude, always humming some cheerful melody, I found my cheeks still burning from embarrassment to think that a girl would say such a thing. Quickly shook my head to clear the thoughts from my mind and turned toward the elder sister. And the soup is delicious. Is Maeko-chan usually the one doing the cooking around here? Hey, I'm glad you like it, Takuyo. I don't usually cook, so I made a few lucky guesses. Oh, it is rather delicious, Maeko-chan. Perhaps you could do more cooking from now on. It would allow me more time to lounge around. Well, the first step to getting your wedding sash is to, become a good housewife, and that includes cooking. I did this with a bit of amusement, following Machiko's comment. I took another sip of the soup. For a few lucky guesses, the dish had turned out pretty well. That's true. I'll learn how to clean. I'll cook for you, and I don't know what else, but it'll be fun learning. Mike, you should stop that. You know very well that it will be pointless for you to marry him. Only the villagers know how to craft a wedding sash, and we both know this will not happen. Yeah, that's not necessarily true, Machiko-san. It only becomes ever more evident that you are not of this world, Takuyo. The villagers do not tolerate our existence. They despise us. We can never ask such a favor of them. All we have to do is find some way to make the villagers accept you, but I guess I'll need to learn more about the village itself before we can do that. Pale-haired woman shook her head slowly, her ears flattening against her head as she did. It is not that simple. They would never trust us. Humans and fox spirits have never been able to get along. I'm honestly surprised that you have been able to tolerate us this long. I'll be happy to be proven wrong, and you are free to stay here as long as you wish, until, of course, you grow too weary of our ways and decide to leave. Nice-sama, please don't say things like that. Takuyo wouldn't do that, would you, Takuyo? Of course not. I wouldn't abandon someone just because they're a different species. That's not the way Gushiken Takuyo does things. However, I do remember the village elder telling me that it wasn't just the fox spirits. It sounds like humans and spirits everywhere have been on bad terms for a long time. Do you know why, Machiko-san? I do not recall. Much information is withheld even from someone such as myself. Most spirits keep to themselves these days. There are a few exceptions, Tsuyu being one of them. Powerful spirits come and go as they please, but they tend to remain in their world. Fox spirits, however, have no other place to go. We are stuck in the human world, for better or worse. I didn't realize it was like that. I guess I'm finally learning stuff. This Tsuyu character lives in a shrine, right? We should try asking her for some ideas. No, we don't need to go. We do not need to go see her. Absolutely not. No, I don't want to see her. I don't want to. I was somewhat taken aback by Machiko's suddenly childish way of speaking. It reminded me of the times I'd been told to visit the doctor when I was younger, complaining and throwing tantrums along the way. But isn't she the only one that can help us? I refuse to go. Tsuyu is a fiend, and I dislike the idea of spending even a second in her presence. She can't be that bad, can she? Besides, if anything happens, I'll protect you. Fine. If it really means that much to you, I will attempt to lead you to the shrine again, but you will enter the grounds alone. I don't want to go anywhere near that place. You'll be on your own, Takuyo. Can I come on, Asama? Absolutely not. I forbid it. You are not to follow us under any circumstances, Maeko. Fine. I'll stay here. Just like you said, I'll be here in the mansion. All alone, unprotected, all by myself. Who knows what might happen to me? I could get trapped under a bookcase and die. Or slip on a banana peel and die, or get bored and die of boredom. I'd be so super duper bored sitting here all alone in the same place day in and day out. Fine, I get it. You may come along, but you must be on your best behavior, little one. No running around and no talking unless spoken to. Okay. And despite Maiko's cheerfulness, I couldn't help but wonder what had happened between Machiko and this Tsuyu for her to react so strongly. And Nata Hajime is now playing Payday 2. I wonder if you can't see that in the recording, can you? That's weird. What happens if I open the Steam overlay? Can you see it? It doesn't even open. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's super laggy. Close. Okay, well, we're not doing that again. I guess you don't see the people coming online doing stuff down here. Interesting. I like this recording thing. I decided that maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to spend some time with the two sisters to get to know them a bit better. Well, I do have 2 weeks until I need to get back to my own world, so there's really no need to rush. How about we do some... How do you know that time is even still going in your world? Maybe when you're here, the other world is, like, in stasis. Or, like, time is just passing, like, really slowly there. To the point where you could stay here, like, 5 years, and it would still be, like, a day. Well, I do have 2 weeks until I need to get back to my own world, so there's really no need to rush. How about we do something else instead? I'm sure Machiko-san wouldn't mind the distraction. Well, the longer I get to stay away from that place, the better. How about bringing Maeko-chan along to fetch some desserts for us? There are oranges, apples, and a small vineyard beyond the mansion. I could whip up some cream and go with it if you'd like. Sure, that sounds easy enough. Let's get us some delicious fruit, Maeko-chan. Alright. As Maeko led me towards the garden of the... Is that how you... Yeah, it is how you fled. Leading towards the garden of the impressive mansion, she seemed a little quiet, as though she had something on her mind. I wanted to ask her about it, but something about the way her ears sagged and her tail hung low told me that probably wasn't the best idea. I decided I'd simply try and cheer her up. So which do you prefer, Maeko-chan? Apples, grapes, or oranges? We could gather all three, but I bet we can grab a few for ourselves first. Apples, I guess. I knew a fox spirit, once a friend of mine, someone who loved apples. I can't remember her name, though. I guess my head's a bit hollow. Apples are awesome, crunchy on the outside and sweet on the inside, and your head isn't hollow, silly. If that were true, I think I'd still be stuck in that jail cell. Well, someone did most of the thinking, though. I just sort of went along with what she said. Well, someone has to take the lead. Besides, I'm still grateful for your help all the same. How about... I playfully flicked Mako's forehead with a grin. See, it doesn't sound hollow at all. I'm sure there's plenty of clever thoughts in that pretty little head of yours. Meanie. Now you know I'm right, at least. Anyway, let's get those apples, shall we? Okay, I'll get them. You go grab that basket over there. Alright, let's get down to business. Feeling hyped about to grab one of the baskets stacked nearby and return to Maeko, who had started climbing one of the trees. The girl looked accustomed to climbing, but her small hands had me a bit worried. Hanging from the branch with just her legs, she checked to see if apples were ripe. Maeko-chan, you might be careful, you might slip. The girl had thrown an apple at me, and while my reflexes let me catch it with ease, the force behind it still stung my palm a little. Of course, I did exaggerate a bit for the girl. I'll be fine, Takiko, and I've been climbing these trees all my life. And even the most experienced climbers end up running into trouble if they aren't careful. I smiled weakly at the girl's excited attitude, placing the apple I caught into the basket. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm a fox spirit. I won't fall. I'm super careful. Watch, I'll grab the apples near the top. Oh, wait, Maeko-chan. Unless you could fly, I don't think you should go for those. Fly? I can't do that, silly Takiko. Who has ever heard of a flying fox spirit? As expected, the moment Maeko tried to reach for one of the apples near the top of the tree, the girl ended up losing her footing and tumbling down towards the ground with a loud cry. Maeko! My reflexes quickly kicked themselves into gear, trying to catch the girl before she hit the ground. Unfortunately, I didn't notice the apples scatter around the tree, and as a result, ended up tripping over them and managed another few steps and was able to catch Maeko before it dropped to the ground. My head was throbbing once I had recovered from the fall. I tried to sit up, but found myself held down by small but substantial weight. Okay. You know what, let's just admire this, you see? It took 7 minutes for that. 7 minutes, we're not even halfway through, and there we go. We got a quality CG right here. Very good. Opening my eyes, I look up to see Maeko sitting on my lap. I guess I tried to reach a bit too far. Thank you, Takio. You saved me, and you gave me a soft, well, kind of soft and kind of hard landing. Maeko-chan, do you mind? You're crushing me. Oh my gosh, Takio, I'm sorry. As the young girl grew increasingly flustered, I knew I had to calm her down. Gently, I tilted my legs between her, and she toppled forward, her head resting against my chest. And I guess we've learned that fox spirits can be pretty clumsy, or maybe that Maeko is even cuter up close than I thought. Why did you say that out loud? Well, Takio, I think you're mistaking me for Ome-sama. Nope, talking about you. You have the innocent side of you that's really charming. I wouldn't be surprised if lots of people from the village will want to claim you as our adorable little sister once we cleared up those misunderstandings. I'd be happy to call you my brother Takio, but lots of people in the village are super mean. I just want to spend time with you and Ane-sama. Brother, how about darling? What in the world? What? Okay. Darling, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Really, I think we'd be a cute couple, a hero and a fox spirit living happily ever after. Your sister could stay too. Great as a little family. I mean, we already have a house, so you wouldn't have to worry about that, and any guy from my world would kill to have a pretty wife like you. What in the world is happening? Okay. I held back a chuckle, knowing all too well that my teasing was taking effect. Okay, that's teasing? Okay. And yet I was also happy to see your spirit seemingly lifted. Thank you, Takani. I think Taka-kun would be better. Machiko-san probably wouldn't like another sibling, but I'm glad you're cheered up. You didn't seem too happy. You didn't seem too happy, if I forgot an O there. Earlier, the way your tail and ears were hanging low reminded me of a scolded puppy. Huh? Oh, right, I was just thinking as well. You know about that spell I wanted to try, the one that needs the silky wedding undies. Wedding sash. It's kind of... I still know what that is. It's kind of like a belt that the bride wears during the wedding ceremony. Doubt any spell involving panties would be a good idea to cast. A belt that the bride wears. Oh, okay, sure. Oh, I thought it was like wedding undies that you wear on your wedding night. Anyway, the spell, I don't know why, but I wanted to try it for a while now. And, well, it's a gate spell, not like those temporary ones. Those are easy to make. A permanent one, like a portal to a different place. Sounds interesting, but are you sure it's safe? Silly Takani, that's not the point. This spell might be able to help you. Well, that's good and all. I prefer not ending up in the middle of the sea or a live volcano. I think we should be a bit more careful with your magic. I'm a good mage. That's what Harry said when he told Atlantis he had a solution to their water shortage. What's Atlantis? A city with high ambitions sunk into the deep due to poor management. Anyway, I think it's best if we get an expert's opinion before we try anything. We're gonna visit this Tsuyu anyway, so maybe she'll be able to tell us if your spell will get me home. But Su-chan told me I shouldn't use magic at all. She said it was only for her to use or something. Maybe she had a reason for saying that, like maybe, I don't know, do spells have side effects? You're just like Onesama. She forbid me too, but I showed her that spells can be helpful and that I can control them, so she let me do more research. I'm not going to throw spells around like they're nothing. I'm not a dumb little kid. I'm not going to do anything. Besides, you seem old enough to take care of yourself. Not that I know how old someone like you might be, but beware of the dark side of magic. In most stories, magic usually comes with a price. Like, what would you do if magic gave you a terrible tummy ache or headaches or worse, a diarrhea? Then you better prepare a gate spell to the nearest bathroom. I do get headaches, but those aren't really that big of a deal. I do get a lot of... and I get to do a lot of things for Onesama. I'm not going to change that ever, so there. I already said I wasn't going to make you do anything. However, what you do need to change, okay, is the fact that you're straddling me and you're rather close, so I'd appreciate if you could get off. Oh, you're so warm and soft, I could just curl up and sleep on you. Don't fall asleep on me. Just kidding. I wouldn't do something like that out here. Maybe tonight, though. It's only fair since Onesama got to do it, but more importantly, dessert. We need to get back inside. Onesama is probably wondering what's taking so long. I couldn't really argue with this girl's impeccable logic. With a smile, I helped the girl to her feet and gathered a few fallen apples into the basket. We returned to Machiko and enjoyed our dessert together. It wasn't too long after that Maeko started to feel sleepy, so Machiko took her to bed, wishing me a good night. More dots. I awoke the next morning to the sun filtering through the wooden blinds. Yawning loudly, the girls had very graciously given me an entire room to myself, and it was certainly a lot bigger than my room back home. It was still early in the morning, likely a bit before breakfast. I decided to spend a short moment to gather my thoughts. It was clear that in order to learn more about my situation, I would need to pay a visit to the shrine. Maybe I could even find the answers to some other questions that had been lingering in the back of my mind for a while now. The fact that Machiko seemed surprisingly nervous at the mention of Tsuyu's name made me wonder about their relationship. What could possibly happen to make Machiko react like that? The apparent hostility between the villagers and the fox spirits was another issue altogether. Of course, I couldn't forget about the fact that I needed to find a way to get home as well. Just as I finished gathering my thoughts, Michael's voice resounded from downstairs. Dakani, breakfast is ready. Could you go get Onesama? Sure, we'll be right there. I quickly made my way out of the room, found myself within one of the corridors of the mansion. Once outside, it didn't take long for me to find Machiko wandering down the corridor, her lips curving into a smile when she saw me. No need to look for me, Takakun. Michael's voice reached me loud and clear. Good morning, Machiko-san. Did you sleep well? It was a decent sleep, although perhaps a bit lonely. However, you seem to be getting along well with my little sister. Takani, was it? Perhaps I should consider you my rival in the quest for the heart of our dear Maeko-chan. She seems to like it. I guess I'll be stuck with that name for a while. Oh, is it not to your liking? Well, perhaps you would prefer Darling instead. You were watching us? Indeed, it was taking you both such a long time. I grew rather curious and stuck out. I didn't see you at all. Well, I am a fox spirit. Hiding myself from humans is like playing hide-and-seek with a child. Then why didn't you use your hiding skills to hide from the guards? Oh, now that you mention it, the thought never occurred to me. Well, it certainly was fun getting chased by them. Unfortunately, Maeko does not have the best control over her change. She is far too excitable and is unable to maintain the illusion. It is her one magical blind spot. I'm sure it wouldn't have been fun if the Tsunade Tyrant had caught you both. That certainly would have been an unpleasant experience. Then again, I'm sure you would have ended up saving me, wouldn't you, Takakun? I noticed a subtle change in Machiko's voice as the sweet sugar-coated words caused my cheeks to flush red. I wasn't really any good at dealing with this girl's flirty attitude. Stepping backwards, I turned towards the stairs at the end of the corridor and replied in a hurried tone. Maeko-chan is waiting for us. And with that, I rushed towards the kitchen, with Machiko giggling behind me as she followed. Good morning, both of you. I fixed up some eggs and toast for you. There are some oranges, too. Wonderful. Thank you, little one. You're getting better at this. To wake up knowing a pretty girl made my breakfast. It's good to be alive. Perhaps you would enjoy having one rest by your side as well. That's a bit overkill, especially considering the condition of said girl. I recalled the sight of Machiko sleeping yesterday, and my cheeks immediately grew red. I quickly sat down at the table, trying to distract myself by changing the subject. So, thanks to you two, I learned a little bit about this world. How would I return to the favor and talk about mine? Do you have anything you want to ask? Oh yes, I want to know. What are the spirits like in your world? Spirits, you say? I thought about her question for a moment before I replied with a sheepish grin. Well, in my world, spirits only exist in folk tales. They appear in stories and certain religions even worship them, but it's not like we got them running around like they do in this world. Folk tales? Worship? Your world is strange, Takakun. Oh, that's kind of boring. What about your life? Are you a defender of your village? You said something about judo before. What is that? Oh, you mean judo? Well, in my world, people go to this place called school. It's basically a place of knowledge where you learn a lot of things before you're considered an adult in our society. But in my world, the defenders are known as the police. They keep things peaceful and such. I'm just a student. I guess you could say that I'm studying to become a defender, just not of my village, but of my whole country. It was a bit exaggerated, but it felt kind of nice to call myself a defender. Yeah, that sounds weird. Is the police like the army or something, defending the whole nation? Your world is very strange, Takakun. I wouldn't call it strange. Machiko-san, it's this world that's weird. But no, the police is like the guards in the village. We do have an actual army that defends the country, though. Either way, your world sounds like fun, especially if everyone's like you. Anyway, oh no, dang it, these oranges have worms in them. Ew. Someone, did you forget to check them again? Oh, how terrible. I must have been overcome with fatigue and never gotten around to checking them properly. Big ol' lazy meanie, I'll just have to go get some apples instead. As Maeko went outside to grab some apples, my eyes drifted towards Machiko, who was observing me with a content smile, clearly pleased with something. Here's another CG. Not quite as fantastical as some of the other ones, but it's still nice. Oops, I forgot to click on the screen. It is such a relief to see her in such a good mood. It has been a tough few months, I must admit. She has been upset that her magical skills have not been progressing as fast as they once did. And we all have our ups and downs, especially when it comes to studying. I still remember how I used to dread exams, so little time for my judo, and made me rather sad at times. That does sound rather stressful. Tell me, Takakun, what is it that you study? I am intrigued by this school notion. Well, my situation is a bit different from most. While I go to school like everyone else, I actually aim to become an athlete. To explain it in a way you'd understand, an athlete is someone who practices a certain sport, and who are... How do you know that they even have sports here? And who are among the best... and those who are among the best end up representing their country. I have an upcoming tournament that will decide whether or not I will be able to represent my country in judo. I think I understand. Your focus on your strength will still gather knowledge to allow yourself a multitude of options. An interesting method. I should thank you. I guess you could say it like that, but why thank me? I believe that your sudden appearance in our world has a lot to do with Maiko's newfound joy. I can hear her singing something I have not heard in weeks. It warms my heart to see her so overjoyed, and I believe it is because of you. Thank you, Takakun. I know it's the only reason, but you're welcome. I smiled bashfully at Machiko before continuing. Then again, I should also thank you for busting my rear out of jail. I don't want to think about what would have happened, about what I would have been doing if I was still in the care of the tsundere tyrant. You are most welcome, but please, do not be so hard on Mio-chan. There are many things here beyond her control. But perhaps it is out of our hands for now. I still wish to thank you, Takakun. I have been wondering how I might repay you for bringing such joy to Maeko-chan. Repay me? From my thoughts drifted towards a certain idea. God damn it. My cheeks quickly turned scarlet right at the thought. Couldn't ask something like that of her. I'm not sure I have anything in mind. I think your smile is enough. You are a true gentleman, Takakun. It's a shame, though. I was thinking of such naughty things too. God damn it. The fox spirit giggled to herself as she turned towards the garden, watching Maeko struggle to descend from one of the trees with an armful of apples. Maeko-chan, there are only 3 of us. Your belly does not count for a 4th person. Speaking of a 4th person, it sounds like you two used to talk a lot with the spirit at the shrine. Why do you get so nervous whenever this two is involved? That's not important. Oh, is that a giant bird carrying the seed of the world tree? Oh, maybe it is. I should go and... you don't know. Thank you for visiting us today. Machiko-san is right over there. That's who you know. I'm sorry, I've just been... Oh, another trading card. Yay, another $1. Oh, whoops. Please forgive me, Chuyi-sama. Oh, I think you get that flustered. Is she that amazing of a person? You don't understand. It is complicated. There are certain skills that I, as a fox spirit, possess a subtle way of talking or acting that influence how people perceive me. They are, I suppose, they'd be considered social skills, but for spirits, Tsuyu is capable of completely negating these, and leaves me feeling rather nervous and helpless. I see, so basically she's immune to your flirting, and connecting the dots in my mind, I plan to palm my hand against my forehead. Now I get it. You are afraid of approaching her because this Tsuyu is a bigger flirt than you, but if she's flirting with you, and I see you swing that way. For some reason I suddenly felt rather disappointed. That's not true, well... Maybe. I mean, she has an overpowering presence, but it does not allow me to properly do my thing. I'm not sure what you mean by swing, however. It means that you know, like girls? Oh, really? Well, how about we forget about all that 2 years for now, and I show you exactly which way I do swing, Takakun. God. That won't be necessary, but you must be quite a challenge to deal with, considering. But if you lowered my voice to a whisper, you're already a handful to deal with once you start your teasing. You are perhaps less the gentleman I thought you to be, Takakun. And what am I, then? A lovable rogue, perhaps, or maybe you see yourself more as a hero type. Of course I'm a hero, a perverted one, but a hero nonetheless. One-sama Takuni. Welcome back, Maeko-chan. How did the hunt for the golden apple go? No golden ones, but I got a load of good ones, even one that's shaped like a heart. You can have this one, Takuni. An apple shaped like a heart. Interesting. Does this mean you're confessing your love to me by giving me this? Yeah, maybe I am. I seriously think Ichikawa would kill me if he saw my current situation. Oh, why, thank you, fair lady. I shall savor every moment of this with its sweet flavor. Maeko, how could you betray your love of me, your one and only sister? Did our time together mean nothing? Oh my. Yeah, but I love you too, and this time I found a super big apple for you. Look me at its finest. Well, we better hurry up. We're gonna see Tsu-chan. Wait, what? I thought we would at least need to ask for her permission and wait until she grew bored enough to reply. I know, but when I was picking apples, I found one of her tiny familiars. She said she wanted to see us today. Oh, poopy. And more dots. Alright, well, that's all for this time. We got one good scene. You know what? I want to show something. Let's save. Where's the main menu? There's the main menu. I want to look at this CG gallery real quick. Oh, okay, that's... See, look at the weird order that they're in. This one makes sense. It's the first one we saw, but then this is the second one we saw, and it's over there. This is the last one. Well, it's not the last one. But that one was from this episode, but for some reason it's in the middle. And then we go to the next page, and these ones are over here. Like, what in the world? Oh, I can guarantee I didn't miss any, because there have been no choices yet. But, like, there's just all these locked ones, and they just skip all over the place. Are there anymore? No. There's 4 pages of them. For some reason, the last 2 have, like, the bottom row gone. Anyway, that's all for this episode. I'll return. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.